Look, it was very shocking in its own way. The reason I say shocking is because it all happened so quickly. There were some rumours about the ICAC coming down a bit in advance, might have been 6 months in advance, and seizing bits of information. And there was rumours around town that maybe one or two people were in trouble. But when the hearings happened, if people remember, there was about, I think, 10 days, roughly 2 weeks of hearings, and then a few more days after that, council's dismissed. So that whole process was probably 2, maybe 3 weeks. And so that was a really, it came like a bolt of lightning from the blue. And a lot of people at the time thought it was pretty unjust that there were a number of city councillors who were adversely named, a small number of staff and business people, and for that, the government then took the action to dismiss the entire council. So you were travelling along, being a councillor, doing the things that you do, representing the community, working out budgets, policies, plans, all those sorts of things. 3 or 4 weeks later, you're out. So it was a very, and that's why I use the word shocking, because it just happened so abruptly. I think you either support democracy or you don't. And democracy is sometimes a bit messy, and sometimes it's not necessarily all that efficient. But I certainly know that in the year or so after the dismissal of council, residents were still asking me for advice about planning matters, still doing some of that same stuff, and there was certainly a concern that the administrators weren't from the area, weren't working full time. And on a broader picture, I think you can rely on the good sense of the voters to sort these things out. If we'd gone to the elections a few months after the dismissal, I think that you can rely on the voters to get it right. There probably would have been a whole lot of new faces, some might have survived, but I think you can rely on the voters to get that sort of thing right. It comes down to whether you think local government is an important tier of government. There's certain things that local government does and that no other tier of government can do or would want to do, and having a democratic input in that process to me seems like a sensible idea. It should be maintained. Clearly it was an unusual circumstance. Clearly some action probably did need to be taken. Exactly how strident that action should have been is hard to say. I think those named councillors certainly had a case to answer, and as we speak, they're starting the process of answering that case. But I think dismantling local government in Wollongong for pushing 2.5 years probably wasn't a good idea.